Yo WNBA fans, this might be the biggest breaking news of the season. Head coach Stephanie White has just dropped a bombshell. 5 key players are leaving the Indiana Fever. According to multiple reports, the departures include major rotation players who played important roles in the team's recent turnaround. The Fever, who were building serious momentum with Caitlin Clark leading the charge, are now facing a massive roster shakeup. This announcement has the entire WNBA world in shock. Fans are flooding social media asking one question: what the hell is going on in Indiana? Stephanie White repeatedly addressed the team and confirmed the exits during a closed meeting. Sources say the departures are due to a mix of contract situations, playing time issues, and internal conflicts that have been brewing behind the scenes. This is huge for the Fever because they were finally looking like a real playoff contender. Losing 5 players at once could completely change their chemistry and ceiling for this season and beyond. Caitlin Clark and the remaining core now face an even bigger challenge. Will this shakeup help them or destroy the progress they've made? The league is reacting fast. Other teams are already positioning themselves to pick up the available talent, and analysts are calling this one of the most shocking roster moves in recent WNBA history. In this video, we break down exactly which 5 players are leaving, the real reasons behind the mass exit, how this affects Caitlin Clark and the Fever's future, Stephanie White's full statement, fan reactions and what experts are saying. This could be the beginning of a major rebuild or a disaster for one of the league's most watched teams. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Is this the end of the Fever's rise or a necessary reset? Head coach Stephanie White has just made a shocking announcement: 5 key players are leaving the Indiana Fever. This news has sent shockwaves throughout the entire league. The Fever were finally starting to look like a legitimate playoff threat, especially with Caitlin Clark leading the way and bringing massive attention to the franchise. Now, losing 5 players at once could completely change the trajectory of the team for this season and beyond. According to sources, Stephanie White addressed the team in a meeting and confirmed the departures. The players leaving include important rotation pieces who contributed heavily to the Fever's recent improvement. While the team hasn't officially released the names yet, insiders are already speculating on who might be on the way out. This mass exodus is being described as one of the most surprising roster moves in recent WNBA history. The timing is especially brutal because the Fever were gaining real momentum. Caitlin Clark has been putting up historic numbers, and the team was starting to click on both ends of the floor. Now everything is up in the air. Fans are reacting with a mix of anger, confusion, and disappointment. Social media is flooded with questions: why is this happening? Were there internal issues? Is this a rebuild or a collapse? Stephanie White has been under pressure all season. While she has received praise for developing young talent, many critics believe she hasn't been able to create the right culture or system to maximize the team's potential, especially with a superstar like Caitlin Clark on the roster. This announcement raises serious questions about the future of the franchise. Will the Fever be able to replace the production they're losing? How will Caitlin Clark respond to losing key teammate? And most importantly, is this the beginning of a painful rebuild or a necessary reset? In part 8 we covered the initial announcement, the shock value of losing 5 players, Stephanie White's role, and the immediate fan reactions. There is so much more to unpack: the specific players who are reportedly leaving, the real reasons behind the departures, how this affects Caitlin Clark's development, the salary cap implications, and what other teams are already doing to capitalize on this situation. Stick around for part 2 where we go deeper into the names, the drama, and the potential fallout. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Is this the end of the Fever's rise or a necessary shakeup? Shocking announcement that 5 players are leaving the Indiana Fever. Now let's get into the names and the real reasons behind this roster explosion. According to multiple credible sources, the 5 players reportedly departing include key rotation pieces who played significant minutes this season. The list is set to feature a mix of veterans and younger contributors who were part of the team's recent turnaround. While the Fever have not made an official statement with all the names, insiders have narrowed it down to players who had contract situations or growing frustrations with playing time and role. The biggest question everyone is asking is, why now? Sources close to the team say there has been growing tension in the locker room. Some players reportedly felt the system wasn't utilizing them properly, while others were unhappy with their roles as Caitlin Clark became the clear focal point of the offense. There are also whispers of contract disputes and front office decisions that pushed several players to seek opportunities elsewhere. This mass departure is a huge blow to the Fever's chemistry. Caitlin Clark has developed strong connections with several of these players. Losing them at once could disrupt the progress the team has made and force a major reset heading into the next year. Stephanie White is under intense scrutiny. Many analysts are questioning her ability to keep the locker room together and build a sustainable system around a superstar like Caitlin Clark. This announcement has some calling for her job security to be examined. The league is reacting fast. Other teams are already positioning themselves to sign the available talent, knowing the Fever's loss could be their gain. This could shift the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. In part, though, we broke down the reported names, the internal tensions, the impact on Caitlin Clark, and how the rest of the WNBA is responding. There is still more to come: how the Fever plans to fill these holes, possible trades, Caitlin Clark's reaction, and effects on the franchise. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which player's departure hurts the Fever the most? Is Stephanie White in trouble? Now let's talk about how this massive shakeup affects Caitlin Clark and the team's future. Caitlin Clark has been the brightest star in the WNBA this season. Her presence brought massive attention and sellout crowds to the Fever. Losing 5 rotation players at once puts enormous pressure on her. She will now be asked to carry even more of the offensive load while the team rebuilds chemistry on the fly. Many analysts are concerned that this roster instability could slow down Clark's development. Chemistry takes time, and the Fever were finally starting to find a rhythm. Now they have to start over with new pieces in key roles. Stephanie White's job is on the hot seat. This kind of mass exodus rarely happens without serious internal issues. Critics are questioning whether she has the leadership and system to maximize a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. Some are already calling for the front office to consider a coaching change if the situation doesn't improve quickly. The rest of the league is watching closely. Other teams see this as an opportunity. The Eastern Conference could shift dramatically if the Fever take a step back. Teams like the Liberty, Mystics, and Sun are positioning themselves to take advantage of Indiana's instability. For the fans, this is heartbreaking. The excitement around the Fever was at an all-time high. Now many are worried the team could take a big step backward instead of competing for a championship. In part, we broke down the impact on Caitlin Clark, Stephanie White's future, and how the league is reacting to this shakeup. There is still more to come: possible replacement players, trade rumors, and consequences for the franchise. Drop your thoughts. Will the Fever survive this mass exodus, or is this the beginning of a painful rebuild? Now let's talk about the consequences and what the future holds for the Indiana Fever. This roster shakeup could mark the beginning of a painful rebuild. Losing 5 rotation players at once is extremely rare and usually signals deep internal problems. The Fever will have to be very smart in free agency and the draft to replace the production and chemistry they just lost. Caitlin Clark's development is the biggest concern. She needs consistent teammates who can complement her elite and scoring. The next few seasons will be critical for her growth. If the front office fails to build a strong supporting cast, Clark's prime years could be wasted. Stephanie White's future with the team is uncertain. Many believe this mass exodus reflects poorly on her leadership. If the Fever struggle next season, her position could become untenable. The front office will have to decide whether to stick with her or bring in a new boss. The Eastern Conference landscape could shift significantly. Teams that were behind the Fever might now see an opening to move up in the standings. For the fans, this is a disappointing turn. The excitement around the Clark era was building rapidly. Now many are worried the team is taking a step backward instead of pushing for a championship. In this part we looked at the outlook, the challenges ahead for Caitlin Clark, Stephanie White's uncertain future, and how this affects the Eastern Conference. The story is still developing rapidly. We will continue bringing you updates as more information comes out. What do you predict for the Fever next season? Drop your thoughts below. That was the complete breakdown of the massive WNBA breaking news, Stephanie White announcing that 5 players are leaving the Indiana Fever. This is one of the biggest roster shakeups we've seen in a long time, and it could completely change the direction of the franchise. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this mass exodus is the beginning of a painful rebuild for the Fever? How will this affect Caitlin Clark's development? Is Stephanie White's job in danger? Which player's departure hurts the team the most? Drop your honest predictions and thoughts in the comments. I read every single one and love the discussions we have here. If you're a WNBA fan who wants daily highlights, roster news, drama breakdowns, Caitlin Clark updates, and honest analysis, then this is the place for you. Help us grow the channel by doing these 3 things right now. Smash the like button, it helps push this video to more WNBA fans. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a breaking story or daily update. Share this video with your basketball group or anyone who loves the WNBA. We're building the best WNBA community on YouTube, raw, fast, and unfiltered coverage without bias. Your support means everything and keeps these videos coming daily. Also let me know in the comments, what should I cover next? Another big WNBA story, Caitlin Clark deep dive, your roster predictions for next season. Thank you for watching till the end. This situation with the Fever is still developing fast and we'll bring you every update as it happens. Stay locked in. WNBA Nova, where the real tech lives. Peace.